Today we're going to go through some electric file maintenance and kind of preventative care, because with your e-file, this is an investment and you want to make sure that you're really taking good care of it. So I'm going to kind of walk you through from when you first get your e-file all the way through as your kind of day-to-day maintenance. What happens when you first get your brand new e-file? First thing you're going to see when you open your box in your e-file is going to be this little protective cover, but you're going to actually put that on the surface of your e-file. So on the surface of the motor here, so that way it's going to protect your e-file from acetone or other chemicals and things like that. Okay, so once you do have that little protector on there, but I will tell you also to clean the surface is to just use a disinfectant cloth. So just like an alcohol wipe, that's what you can use to clean the surface. You can clean all the way around the sides of it. That's not going to damage the finish. But if you were to take acetone on a wipe, that could definitely damage the finish on your e-files. You can also use the alcohol wipe to clean your handpiece. Make sure that's all nice and clean. And then also make sure that you're cleaning and just kind of wiping down throughout the day as you're using it, wiping down the rest of the handpiece and the cord too. I want to talk about the handpiece and changing your bits out. Okay, make sure, like we talked about before, always dust it off using like a table wipe. You could use a table wipe, you could use your terry towels or a alcohol wipe, and that's going to really clean it off well. I also like to, before I change out my bits, I like to use my manicure brush and dust out in between there, just to make sure that there's no dust in that area when you take your bit out. Okay, so when you open up that handpiece, it's actually going to open up that space to allow that bit to be removed. Okay, when you close that handpiece, it closes in and it'll grab onto that bit. Now we want to make sure that we're not getting any dust down in there, so that's why I always like to dust off that handpiece a little bit before I actually open up and take out that bit, so that dust doesn't get down in there. Okay, so make sure that when you're changing out your bit, clean it off beforehand, and then you can put your other bit in. Now here's a trick. When you get your handpiece, it's gonna come with a little dummy bit. So it's just kind of basically the stem of the bit. So there's not actually a bit on there. Do not throw that away. Save that so that anytime you take a bit out and maybe overnight you're not using it or something like that, you always keep that bit in there to store it so that it's going to keep dust out of that inside. Okay, so again, it's really important to keep the inside of your handpiece clean and dust free. So always make sure, try to clean it off, get off that dust as much as possible, and always keep some kind of a bit in there so dust doesn't collect inside when you're not using it. So you guys always make sure that you keep that handpiece secure in the cradle, not just sitting on your table. A lot of times if you do have it just sitting on the table, I've seen people kind of bump the handpiece, it'll roll off the table, and anytime you drop your handpiece, that's where a lot of damage can be caused. Always make sure, keep it secure in the cradle so you're not going to knock it off the table. Now again, at the end of the day, or if you're not using it, or between clients or things like that, if you can, keep it down in a drawer. Again, that's going to keep dust off of it. It's going to keep it a little bit more safe and secure, so it just doesn't accidentally get damaged or bumped off the table. If you do end up dropping your handpiece, you may end up hearing kind of a grinding sound, or you may end up with a little bit more vibration in the handpiece. Also, I've seen people drop the handpiece and it'll actually break the bit off, and then they'll have the bit broken off in the handpiece and you can't get that out. Another thing with your bits, talking about dropping handpieces and bits and things like that, is so when you have a good concentric bit, you can look at that bit and you won't really even be able to tell that it's spinning. Now I know it is because I can't really see the grit on the bit. Even if I look at it from the end, I don't see it rotating or wobbling. If you do see it, or if it feels like your bit is wobbling, throw that bit away, okay? It's not concentric, it's not rotating perfectly smoothly, and that extra wobble, even if it's just a slight wobble, that can actually burn out and wear out your handpiece a little bit faster. If you dropped it for any reason or something like that, if it's wobbling in that handpiece, throw it away. It's going to cost you more in the long run if it ruins your handpiece. So get rid of that broken bit or that non-concentric bit. Okay, so let's go back to do not open your handpiece. Okay, so what I mean by that, you can open that to take the bits in and out, okay, but do not try to open this top part here and disconnect it from the rest. And I've seen a lot of people do this. they dropped it, it was grinding, they thought, oh, I'll just open it up and I'll try to fix it or clean it myself. Please do not do that, okay? I beg you, please do not do that. Inside the handpiece are a couple of little bearings that those can pop out when you open this up. And if you don't know how to take those out and put them back in properly, again, you can really cause a lot of damage to your handpiece, okay? So my best recommendation is always gonna be, if there is something that doesn't seem right or feel right with the handpiece or the motor, definitely contact our customer service and they will be able to help schedule repairs for you and take care of that for you. Protect your investment, protect your e-files, do the proper maintenance, do the proper cleaning, and you guys, hopefully some of these tricks will help you elongate the life of your e-file.
Subscribe to the channel.